If you're that person who never has breakfast, you maybe get a protein bar at the most because you're always telling yourself that you do not have time. Well, today I'm giving you the solution to that. Let me introduce you to my overnight oats. I have got 3 flavors here that you'll want to have on repeat every single day. They are made in seconds the night before. You can shove them in the fridge, they marinate overnight, and boom, you've got yourself a whole pot, which is huge, literally the size of my head, that you can take with you, you can have on the go, you can get out of the fridge in 2 seconds, and your breakfast is sorted. All of these flavors have less than 450 calories in, over 30 grams of protein, literally has everything that you need to keep you full for the entire morning, which is going to make your fat loss journey a whole lot easier. We've got raspberry peanut butter flavor, toasted cinnamon apple, and my absolute favorite, the fudge brownie. So get your ingredients and let's get into it. So all 3 flavors of these overnight oats are the exact same with the base, and we can just put in the mixtures to make them different flavors. So we're going to start off with our fudgy brownie overnight oats. I have this one literally every single morning for my breakfast. Like I said, exact same start ingredients for every single one. We're going to start off with our oats. So we're going to need 40 grams of those. Then we're going to move on to our seeds. We've got some chia seeds and some flax seeds. Now, if you're losing fat, something that a lot of people don't actually look into is the fibre. This is so important to get your fibre in because it helps digestion, it helps movement through your gut. It actually helps you have that like full feel in your stomach, which is what we want when we're hungry and when we're losing fat. We're going to pop in 10 grams of chia seeds and 10 grams of flax seeds. And then the last ingredient for the base of the oats is some good old protein powder. Now I use the My Protein vegan blend as I do with all my other recipes. This protein, it personally tastes so good when I put in recipes. It kind of gives you that really nice thick cake batter sensation. Whey protein powder works as well. If you don't like vegan, that can still work. What I will say is when we're mixing in our liquids, vegan is a little bit thicker, so you might need a bit more liquid. We're going to need 30 grams of protein powder straight in there as well, and that is the base done. All we need to do now is pop in the mix-ins. For the fudgy brownie flavor, you can just use chocolate protein powder if you do have that in, or if you don't, vanilla is absolutely fine. We're just going to pop in some cocoa powder. So we're going to need 10 grams of that. And then what we're also going to pop in is some cacao nibs. Now you can do chocolate chips if you want to, but personally, I don't really fancy eating chocolate chips first thing in the morning. This is still like chocolatey, but without sugar and all that. It just tastes nice. It gives it a nice crunch. So we're going to get 5 grams of cacao nibs in there as well. And that is that done. Give that a little mix together, and then we're moving on to our liquids. I'm using almond milk simply because I don't eat dairy. If you want to have dairy milk, you can have that, feel free. But what I will say is if you are trying to keep your calories a little bit lower, a really easy swap in calories is to use a plant-based milk. It's like easily half the amount of calories, and in my opinion it tastes pretty similar once you've mixed it in everything. So my rule of thumb with this protein powder is 100 ml of milk and then 100 ml of water. Like I said, with whatever protein powder you're using, you might need a little bit less, you might need a little bit more. Just trial and error it out. But I'll show you the consistency of what we want it to look like at the end, and you'll know exactly what I'm trying to get at. Give that a good mix together. We want to make sure there are no lumps whatsoever. We do not want any pops of protein powder early on in the morning. This is the sort of consistency that we're looking for in the end. So test it out with your liquids, with whatever protein powder you're using, but we want it like a cake batter consistency. That's exactly what we're going for. But that is our fudgy brownie one basically done. The only other thing that I would suggest mixing in is a good load of fruit, because if you are losing fat, you know the drill. We need to volumize our foods up as much as possible. So we're gonna go to the freezer and get whatever frozen fruits I've got in there. We've got some cherries and we've got some frozen rasps. All we're gonna do is pop about 30 grams of each straight in there. Give it a little mix in, and that's overnight oats number 1 done. Fudgy brownie oats. It literally tastes like brownie batter. Let's pop the lid on and let's move on to our next one. Okay, we've just made up jar 2 and jar 3, the exact same base as before, just to save a little bit of time. Next one we're gonna move on to is our raspberry and peanut flavor. The way that we're gonna do this is we're just gonna get a load of raspberries. If you don't have fresh, you could just defrost a load of frozen ones, but we're just simply gonna mash it all up. Not only do raspberries have so much fiber, but again, it's going to give us flavor, it's going to give us way more volume. And honestly, like if you're trying to lose fat, mashed up raspberries is just like a really low calorie way of making like a jam like consistency. Really cool. So once we've mashed that all together, we're simply just going to whack it straight into that jar. And then the next one we're going to do is grab some peanut butter along with some yogurt. This is going to give us some nice healthy fats to the jar. So we're simply just going to grab 10 grams of PB. Then to bulk up the peanut butter and make it like nice and creamy, we're going to pop in some Greek yogurt. I've just got 10% here. I usually get 5%, but the shop didn't have it. But 5%, 10% is good. It's going to give you that creamy consistency. So we're going to put about 20 grams of that in there and just literally stir that together. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know I do this with literally everything. Whatever I want to make higher volume, I just whack a bit of yogurt in it. Tastes the exact same, but literally triples, quadruples the volume. And we're simply just going to top the raspberry with that. We've got our toasted cinnamon apple concoction. So we're just gonna get ourselves a good old pink lady and we're just gonna peel this skin off. And then what we're gonna do is cut the apple straight down the middle in half. With half that apple, we're actually just gonna grate it straight into the jar. So we've got the grated apple in, we're gonna add bit of cinnamon in there. You know how much I love cinnamon. And simply give that a nice stir together. If you're just a functional person and you just want to get this over and done with, you can just leave it there. We've got the apple, we've got the cinnamon. Or if you do want a little bit more fancy and you want some nice toppings, I'm going to make a toasted apple and cinnamon topping. All you're going to do is get the other half of the apple, slice it up into little cubes, grab yourself out a little pan, tiny little spray of some oil, whack your apple straight in there, along with a little bit of cinnamon and a little drizzle of honey. Big trick here, if you are doing anything like this where you're drizzling things in, pop your scales on, set it to 0, put the thing that you want to actually weigh out on top, and then when you do put the drizzle on, you can see what you've actually taken out. So I've had 11 grams there, 12 grams. Now we're gonna make our way over to the hob. We're just gonna let them sizzle away. They'll probably need about 5 to 7 minutes just to get nice and toasted. Everything's starting to caramelize, everything's starting to smell so good. Look at how, you will be jumping out of bed this in the morning. So toasted apples are done. We've got the cinnamon, we've got the honey, we've got the soft apples. We're just gonna pop that straight in the jar on top. Are we seeing how caramelized they look? Oh my God, wow, wow, wow. And that's pot number 3, done. They've been in overnight now. They are looking and smelling absolutely amazing. Before we end this video, I'm gonna take you through a little taste test because I know you're all wondering what the hell they taste like. So first of all, we're gonna go in with the raspberry peanut. We've got the layers here. We've got everything that we want. Look at that. Okay, that is tasting good. We've got the apple and cinnamon, which I think is going to be up there with my favorite. Look at that. Wow. Wow. That literally tastes like apple crumble in a pot. Oh my God. And then last but not least, my absolute favorite is the fudge brownie. That has got to be my favorite every single time. It literally tastes like the brownie batter that you have before you put it in the oven. Insane. That's 3 flavors. The list of flavors are absolutely endless, but let me know what your favorite flavor is down below and I'll see what I can whip up in the next video. But yeah, go and enjoy. Make sure you have breakfast on the morning. Make sure you treat yourself to your overnight oats, and I'll see you in the next one.